At this time of year, it's always fun to think of what the city of Edmonton would have been like 100 years ago. So Fort Edmonton facsimilates that very well, particularly along 1905 Street.
1914 is a very interesting year because that sort of marks the end of very much the boom period of Edmonton. At around 1914, I believe the approximate population of Edmonton was near 70,000, so it dropped to about 50,000 by 1516, and then it wouldn't return back to 70,000 until after the end of the First World War.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good day, sir.
10 years before 1914, you saw automobiles in the Edmonton area, and they just saw increased use. It was very much a very popular thing because Edmonton was a very new, modern city, and because you had a lot of sort of professionals coming out, automobiles were very common in the city, along with other amenities such as streetcars or public transit.
There was a lot of cars coming into Edmonton in 1914, 1915.
It's kind of a boom time for cars.
It was a boom time, yes. This is a 1913 International Harvester truck, about a quarter-ton truck. It would have been used by merchants, possibly farmers in the 1915 era.
There was a lot of industry in the area, especially in the river valley. You had coal mines, lumber mills, brickyards. You had a lot of expansion in the town.
I am representing Alex Nikoto, the first Aboriginal officer in the Edmonton Police Service. His brother-in-law was a retired Irish policeman. That probably opened a few doors for him and allowed him to pursue the career in policing.
It became the first Aboriginal police officer in Edmonton's history.
Yes,
true?
That's correct. He volunteered for the Canadian Expeditionary Force, which went to England in order to fight the Great War as well. He was also transferred into the 49th Battalion and unfortunately lost his life in the Battle of Passchendaele.
The Spanish influenza swept through Edmonton, and it killed actually more Edmontonians than the war did itself. So that had a big impact on the population and caused it to stay low until after the war was finished. You certainly saw a rise of educated Edmontonians, and that sort of went hand in hand with the rise of professional jobs in the Edmonton area. You had a lot of doctors and lawyers and dentists moving out here, and a lot of homegrown ones.
At Reed's Bazaar in 1914, what kind of product were people seeking?
People were seeking exotic china that was imported from overseas. It was following the British tradition.
The amalgamation of Strathcona and Edmonton in 1912 had what kind of an impact?
It was a tremendous impact just in terms of raw numbers. There was a huge number of people just added to the total population of the city, but the economy as well, it helped strengthen it quite a bit, and it also created a stronger bond between the two cities, which at that point they had been sort of rivals. So you see a lot of men in Edmonton as well, believing that women should have the right to vote. Along with that, you saw other social changes, such as temperance movements from 1914 to 1915 and 16. Around 20,000 people would leave Edmonton to go settle in the rural areas around the city itself.
1914, the end of the first golden era of Edmonton history, 100 years ago. I'm Tim Dancy.